So this first block of code that we're going to copy is for the graph.py file. So we'll start populating this. So as I said, this graph.py file is really what we're going to be using as the brains behind the whole AI agent. So the first thing that we'll do is import all the different libraries and packages that we need. And then we'll start defining some constants. Now, these constants are, first of all, the model that we're going to use. We're going to use a very basic model for this example. You can bump this up to one of the more recent Claude models if you wanted to, like Sonnet 3.5 or Sonnet 3.7. But actually, for this example, speed is really important and latency is really important. And as you'll see in the demo, there's definitely some improvements just by running it locally that we can make here. But given that all of the information that we're going to be providing about the customer is already known to the AI agent, i.e. in the form of the JSON file that we'll load, and given the prompts that we'll engineer to make sure that it has all the context that it needs, the actual reasoning power that the AI agent needs isn't actually that high. Therefore, you may not need a really complicated model with a lot of reasoning power. So something like Haiku actually works really well. So if I now move down to the role, this is where I'm going to define and tell the AI agent, this will be passed in one of the system prompts, what the AI agent's role is. So I'm basically telling it that you're going to be a customer support agent for a domestic robotics company called HomeBots. The purpose of the call and the reason why the AI agent is calling a customer or speaking with a customer is that you're following up with a prospective customer that has inquired for more information online. So if you can imagine, you might be shopping online for a robot that you need around the house, and you might have filled out an inquiry form, which for high ticket items or for very bespoke items is quite a typical sales cycle. So I've inquired online, I might have given some basic information such as my email and my name. So that's been logged in the domestic robotics company's backend. And then now, traditionally, someone would have to physically call that person up or email them to then figure out, okay, well, what product do you want? And what's your budget? And when do you want it delivered by? All this sort of very basic, simple stuff. But what the AI agent will do is it will actually have that conversation with the customer. So then, giving a little bit more context, we let the AI agent know, well, what is it that it needs to do? So we let the AI agent know that it needs to collect all these different pieces of information from the customer. That includes the customer name, the product, the delivery address, email address, phone number, payment method, and desired delivery date. You can obviously customize this to whatever you want for your specific use case. And we also give it some context about the different products that the company offers. So it offers the HomeBot 1000, 2000, and 3000. We then define the actual task that the AI agent needs to complete. So I find this to be a really good best practice when building AI agents that need to go through a series of steps or need to tick off a series of checkpoint items before they can actually end the conversation. So by making it really clear about all the different things that the agent needs to do, such as greeting the customer, confirming their name, and then secondly, checking the customer inquiry data, so then going and fetching the data from the JSON file or from the database. After that, if any of the checklist items are missing, one by one, go through those items and ask the customer for the answer to those items. And then when everything is done, then we can essentially end the conversation. So by defining it really clearly like this, it gives the AI agent a structure to work within. And it also allows them, because AI agents are a much more dynamic way of working with LLMs, it gives them a framework to then work within. So then if the customer for whatever reason goes off track or asks a different question out of scope, the AI agent is able to return back to what it should be doing. And then finally, I've defined some rules at the bottom as well. This is really useful to just make sure that the AI agent once again stays on track and knows the bounds upon which it's allowed to work within. So here, this is where you can define things like tone of voice. You can define that, things need to be kept very clear and concise. You can also make sure to enforce rules such as, only focus on one question at a time. Don't overwhelm the customer with multiple questions. And you can reiterate any important points here as well that you want to make sure the AI agent follows. So there's no real actually kind of like building of the AI agent here. This is really just set up steps in terms of the prompts that will be fed to the AI agent. So the next thing that we'll define is the state. Now this state definition is a strict typed class. Now by defining the state like this, it enables the AI agent to make sure that all of the information that it collects follows this strict typing. So basically what it's saying is that all the information that we need, customer name, product, delivery address, email address, phone number, payment method, and delivery date must all be strings. We've also got a messages field here as well, which will store an entire history of all the messages that go backwards and forwards between the AI agent and the customer. And then we have a couple of flags at the end as well. So it has the conversation finished and has the AI agent gone and checked the checklist for the customer. So this definition will be used by the AI agent to essentially keep track of the entire conversation.